Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is SP Jimmy, and I'm going to be showing you a guide on the Spines power set in City of Heroes 2019. But wait a minute, what do we notice over here? On Homecoming, spines are available on brutes and tanks. Why aren't they listed here in this guide? Well, we know that spines and a lot of the power sets have been spread across others. So even though it only says Scrapper and Stalker, the Scrapper power set is the Brute and also the Tanker power set as well. It doesn't matter here because it's not showing us the damage multipliers, but I believe there's really no difference except that a Brute and a Tanker get, instead of the Confront power, they get the Taunt power, but I believe everything else is the same, and correct me if I'm wrong. And then Stalkers have some pretty big differences that we'll talk about later. But if you don't know already, I have many videos with many guides with many power sets, so check those out if you are looking to maybe enhance your alt collection and you want to add spines to it. Why would you want to add spines? Well, let's read about it and then we'll talk about it and then we'll know about it. Sounds good? Sounds good. Spines protrude from your body and can deal damage in melee or at very short ranges. Spines are hollow and hold a neural toxin that deals additional toxic damage and can slow or immobilize your enemies. The toxin is cumulative, and multiple hits will stack and affect the target more strongly, and that's amazing. Very few foes have resistance to spine poison, and that holds true with people as well. Characters have low resistance to poison unless you're like spamming dull pain or whatever. It's not the main reason you're taking spines. The main reason you're taking spines is because you want to do crazy AoE damage. And look at this set, there's so much, and you can see here Quills is and always has been a staple of the game. Whenever I think of spines, it reminds me of my brother because he always spines regen specifically. But I think we know that maybe like spines fire or something a little bit more popular now. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think is the best spines build, or a spines build that you want to see. Maybe spines what, ice, dark, those sound pretty cool. And maybe we can get some builds linked down there, or if you have a request, and that might show up in future videos as well. At level 1, you have a choice between Barb Swipe and Lunge. It doesn't really matter which one you pick because you're probably not going to be using either. Barb Swipe is a melee minor damage, lethal damage over time, toxic, foe, minus recharge, and minus speed. And that minus recharge and minus speed is on just about every single attack. Lunge at level 1 or level 2 if you're a tank is melee moderate damage, lethal damage over time, toxic, with a foe, minus recharge and minus speed. Your tier 3 ability is Spine Burst, which, here's the thing, it's different how you play spines when you're leveling versus when you're level 50. When you're leveling, you're going to be taking Spine Burst because it's like the best and only AoE you have for a while. But once you get to 50, specifically once you get your patron power arcs and you can get like Moo Mastery, you're gonna be good to go. So you probably, Spine Burst is so slow. The amount of time it takes to boom, and then he uses it. I don't want it anymore. I'd rather throw another throw spines. I honestly, and I feel the same way about like Ripper as well, that kind of like holds you up and rips and makes you do like double backflips. Who's got time to line that up? I'd rather just use like burn or something, or my move stuff if I'm doing my spines fire. But if you don't have anything else in there, I think Ripper would probably be a good option. But Spine Burst, maybe when you get to 50, if you don't have anything else, but it is really slow and locks you down. It's the only issue with it. Build up, which is your standard self plus damage and plus 2 hit, and then you get Impale at level 8, which is actually a ranged ability, and you throw a close high damage lethal with a toxic damage over time, foe immobilize, and you can proc that out into a hold as well because it's able to have that immobilize proc. Confront, we talked about a little bit earlier. It's just your standard taunt with minus range, so the enemy has to come up to your nose and to be able to shoot you. Quills at level 18 is a toggle player-based area of effect with minor damage, lethal, and a foe minus recharge and minus speed to everybody around you, and it goes off like quah, quah, blah, blah. It's constant. It's awesome, and it adds really good AOE to any character. But you're gonna draw so much attention when you're standing there dealing so much damage to um, enemies. I saw like a stone spines tank once, and I was like, oh, that looks like fun. I bet you just love standing in the middle of mobs, don't you? And then your tier 8 ability is Ripper, and we can see here on Stalker it's a little bit different as you were building up, but they still do get Ripper, but everything else is kind of different. They don't even get Quills. What? Ripper makes you do like a triple backflip. It's a melee cone, high damage, lethal, foe minus recharge, minus speed, and it has knockback. And I really don't like that knockback either. And I would recommend slotting that into knockdown with the sudden acceleration enhancement. Your tier 9 ability is Throw Spines, which is a close cone, moderate damage, lethal, and damage over time toxic. It has foe minus recharge, minus speed. All you have to do is like have combat jumping or have an okay jump height, jump backwards, throw spines, or jump straight up in the air even. You don't have to move. Just hold down space and press throw spines when you're in the air, and you'll do this huge arc, and it recharges so fast. If you don't have one or two other things to use, you're doing it wrong because you should be using throw spines all the time. Now, the difference on a Stalker here, they get Barb Swipe, they get Lunge, they get Spine Burst, but at level 6, they get Assassin's Impaler, then they get their build up, and then they still get Impale, but they trade Confront for Placate, but they still have Ripper and they still have Throw Spines. And your Assassin's Impaler is pretty normal. It doesn't have any real special effects to it or anything. Barb Swipe, you shred your opponent with several quick swipes from your spines. Barb Swipe deals minor lethal damage and damage over time. Spine Poison deals additional toxic damage over time, and that's what slows your affected foes. There's your general buildup. Looks like a lot of things here can take a slow movement effect as well as melee. Your Impale, you can throw a single large spine at a targeted foe. This spine does only moderate damage, but carries a large amount of the spine toxin that can completely immobilize most foes, as well as slowing them and dealing toxic poison damage. Impale can also bring down flying entities because it has a minus speed and minus fly ability as well. And you can see you could put that immobilize proc right in there. Lunge, you can lunge forward, stabbing and poisoning a targeted foe with a large spine from your arm. Lunge deals moderate damage, spine poison. We know what that does. And there's that slow movement again. You're going to be doing so much AoE. It's really rare that you would use lunge. I use kick instead because I think it's funny because I have tough and weave anyways. Placate, it's your standard placate from a Stalker. Quills, when you activate this power, you will constantly fire dozens of spines in all directions. These spines do minor damage but can poison all foes in close range. Spine poison slows affected foes. Ripper, you can unleash a spectacular slashing maneuver that attacks all villains in a wide arc in front of yourself. Ripper deals massive damage and poisons multiple targets. It can even lock down foes. Spine poison slows affected targets and deals additional toxic damage, and it has that knockback right there, and it takes player-based AoE damage sets. Spine Burst, which is available to Stalker as well, keeping in mind that you could use this straight from stealth, and that might make it worth it just to run in the middle of a mob, and it doesn't really matter how long the animation was because you're throwing that toxic on them, and you're going to be getting critical attacks everywhere, so that'd be a good place to use it. You can fling dozens of spines in all directions. These spines only travel a short distance, but they can deal moderate damage and poison any target close to you. For throw spines, you throw dozens of spines in a wide cone in front of you. Impaling foes caught within the range, spine throwing deals moderate damage and poisons any target it hits. Spine poison deals additional toxic damage and slows affected targets. And that is an overview of the spines power set. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, please remember to join up with a subscription so you can be up to date on all of the latest guides. My name is SB Jimmy, and I will see you guys in a little bit.